is time to discuss Perfect Dark and the situation around Xbox. See? That's why the lights are green. And I usually hate talking about this stuff because it's really easy for conversations like this to devolve into a console war. I'm not a console war warrior. I was when the N64 was out, but that was back then. I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. As a grown man, no, I don't care what giant corporate entity is making it seem like they're the best one for me. All the gaming companies have one thing in common. They all want your money. They all want the biggest market share. They all have their pros and cons. At the end of the day, they all just want that dollar bill. I want them all to do well. Give me all the video games everywhere. And I know this topic itself is old news at this point. The internet has a very short memory. But I do feel like I kind of need a vent here because it's really frustrating watching one of your favorite game series just kind of sit there. And that's what's happening here with Perfect Dark, among some others. Before we get started, I'd like to express a huge thank you and shout out to all my Patreon members for their continued support. You guys help keep these videos flowing consistently, and if you'd like your name up here too, get exclusive sneak peeks at upcoming content, detailed updates, behind the scenes content, access to the Discord exclusive channel, and early access to my big videos, go to patreon.com/GamerThumbTV or click the link in the description to get started. Now let's start with Perfect Dark. I've been a fan of this series since it started, although really there's only been 3 games in the series. You've got the original N64 one with its remaster, of course. There's the prequel on Xbox 360, Perfect Dark Zero, which was good. It wasn't great, but I did enjoy it. It was one of my launch games on the 360. And you have a Game Boy Advance Perfect Dark game. This one I've never played. But the original blew me away. It was like this cool futuristic sci-fi GoldenEye. So you can understand how exciting it is learning that Perfect Dark was coming back. Let's go through the whole timeline here so you can truly understand how aggravating this is. Back in December 2020, we get our first look at the new Perfect Dark game with a cinematic trailer designed to give us an idea of the world. You know, futuristic stuff, fires breaking out everywhere, a dystopian future where weather was going out of control, bad guys trying to take advantage of the chaos. Cool. Perfect Dark was going to be a reboot developed by The Initiative, a new internal studio put together by Xbox in 2018, and they were partnering with Crystal Dynamics, the studio behind Tomb Raider. Cool. Except all these details, including the trailer, was all fluff to get gamers excited. Turns out they announced the project way too damn early. When we saw the trailer, they hadn't even figured out the core mechanics of the game. It was all cinematic flair that wasn't representative of the game at all, and in reality, it had hardly begun development. It was all bullshit. And you can verify all this stuff online. It's all public information. I'm not going to list out all my sources. It's been out there for quite a while now. Now 2022 rolls around, 2 years later, and we have more great news about Perfect Dark's development. By analyzing LinkedIn profiles, it was figured out that nearly half of the staff were just gone. They went elsewhere to work, including senior staff. Let's read it off, because I've got a list here. The game's director, the design director, the level director, the principal world builder, 2 system designers, 3 former designers that worked on God of War, 2 senior writers, technical director, lead gameplay engineer, tech art director, QA lead, lead animator, and more. All gone. You have to have one clear vision that everyone is working towards. There's no vision here. It hasn't really come together in any significant way. 4 years after the announcement trailer that didn't represent the game at all. I really hope this whole situation gets figured out and we get a solid new entry in the Perfect Dark series. But with anything recently Xbox owned, I don't have high hopes. I feel like it's just going to get stuck in development hell until it gets quietly canceled and the studio gets absorbed into another one, which is very likely, especially with this whole situation with Xbox buying a bunch of game studios, doing nothing with them, and then just letting them die out or they get absorbed by another studio. It's been happening for years, and it keeps happening. I'm a big supporter of supporting game developers by buying the good games they make. If they make good games, you as the consumer purchase them, give them money for it. That secures their jobs, their industry can grow, their company can grow. But you can't even say the almighty dollar really supports that idea anymore. The developer of Hi-Fi Rush, Tango Gameworks, perfect example. The game was without a doubt a success critically and in sales. The game was good, it reviewed well, and people bought it. And what happens? Does Xbox give them troves of cash to grow, get bigger, and make more games? No. They shut them down. Why? I don't understand this. In fact, the president of Xbox, Sarah Bond, was asked about this exact topic, and I want to know if you heard what I heard. It's the biggest non-answer sidestep of a question I have ever witnessed. This sounds like every non-answer that politicians give when asked hard questions.
I think one of the things that was most upsetting both to Xbox gamers and to employees is that, one of the shuttered studios in particular just created a hit game, did really well on Game Pass in terms of engagement, and won a ton of awards. Shouldn't succeeding in that way ensure the future of a studio?
Yes, that's how it works. You see how easy that was to answer? Let's hear the answer, though.
One of the things I really love about the games industry is it's a creative art form. And it means that the situation and what success is for each game and studio is also really unique. Like there's no one size fits all to it for us. And so we look at each studio, each game team, and we look at a whole variety of factors when we're faced with sort of making decisions and trade-offs like that. But it all comes back to our long-term commitment to the games we create, the devices we build, the services, and ensuring that we're setting ourselves up to be able to deliver on those promises.
What does that even mean? She didn't even answer the question. She didn't say anything. To blow my mind even further, then you have Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios. He held a town hall for employees, and these are his comments. I quote, "We need smaller games that give us prestige and awards." You mean like this? You had it. And this brings me to the reason why I have Killer Instinct on the thumbnail. They need smaller games that give us prestige and awards, right? Xbox has the Killer Instinct series they're doing nothing with. And fighting games are huge. People love them. People pay for them. People spend money in them for years. Buying cosmetics, add-on, you name it. And yes, the new Killer Instinct came out in 2013. And to be fair, it has been continuously supported since then. But why don't we have more of the series? Let's look at some competitors since 2013. Mortal Kombat came out with Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat Mobile, Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat Onslaught, Mortal Kombat 1. That's a lot. Street Fighter. And I remind you, this is only since 2013. The same amount of time Killer Instinct has had. You've got Ultra Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, Ultra Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 6, Street Fighter Duel. I think they even came out with a collection during that time. Killer Instinct. You have Killer Instinct 2013. That's it. Oh, and then you have 1 and 2 Classic on the Xbox too, but it's not new. It's like Xbox is just putting all their eggs in one basket, really 2 baskets, Game Pass and Activision. They want to get those Game Pass subscriptions up, and they spent a fortune on the Activision deal. It sounds like they're just focused on recouping what they spent, instead of focusing on supporting great game developers making great games. Yes, buying a company just to get Call of Duty is expensive. In the process, it seems like they've forgotten one thing. And although no one from Xbox is going to see this video, here's a huge warning for the company. If Xbox doesn't offer an experience that a player can only get on Xbox, consistently and continuously, people are going to go play somewhere else. They're going to go to PlayStation, they're going to go to PC. It's already happening, it's been happening. And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom about the entire video game industry. I think the video game industry itself is going strong, it's resilient. No, I don't think it's dying. We're getting great games all the time that sell well, both from AAA companies and indie developers. It just so happens that one of its biggest players, the Xbox brand, is kind of a big mess right now, when its other competitors are firmly standing strong. Anyways, that's my rant. I got it off my chest. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this. I would love to hear it. I'll catch you guys later.